All right, so I'm here today with two of my queer brown girlfriends. We're going to keep this, I guess, anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what are your anon names? Oh my God, look at you looking at each other.
Oh my God.
So sapphic.
No, we're just confused.
Can be anything.
I'm Shreya.
Okay.
I'm Shreya Desai.
She had to be Gujarati.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I get it.
I always like the name Sandhya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sandhya.
If we're
Shreya
gonna
and
keep
Sandhya.
it, we're gonna keep it South Asian.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just use my not Starbucks name because I hate Starbucks. But I just tell people my name is Ava when I don't want to tell them my name.
Got it. Ava's good. I usually say, my parents call me Anu. But sometimes my Starbucks name is Mary because it sounds like an Airy, but it's like a little easier.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not anonymous.
That's fine.
All right.
This is your show.
So how do you identify, like in terms of your gender pronouns?
I use they, them pronouns. I'm agender because I think gender's fake.
Say more. Say less.
No, yeah, gender's just fake. That's pretty much it. I don't understand it. It's like religion. It makes my head hurt if I think about it too hard.
Got it. And what about you?
I use she, her pronouns, but I don't really care. That's just kind of what like I think the more I've thought about it and the more I've been exposed to different thoughts and stuff like that about gender and just everything, I'm just like, well, I've done this for so long, so I guess I'm like emotionally attached to it in a way. Like it just makes sense for me, but I don't really care. As long as no one thinks I'm a cis man, we're good.
Yeah. You must run into that a lot.
Oh yeah, of course.
I would not mind if some people thought I was a cis man.
That's good.
That new employer, like...
I know. So when I was, oh my God, I'm going to like totally age myself when I say this, but when I was your age, like that wasn't something people asked, what's your pronoun? And to your point of, I don't care. I think I identify as she, her, but also, I don't know. I don't, it's like when Hannah Gadsby had her comedy special and she's like, I don't know, I identify as tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that labels can sometimes help
Yeah.
people, but it almost feels like it's solving the problem for the dominant.
Yeah,
gender.
I mean, I think it's great when you have, like, it's not weird anymore to be like, these are my pronouns. Because I wasn't really exposed to that until college, and I went to, like, a women's liberal arts college. And that's, I think, when a lot of those thought processes started happening, just because I was meeting a bunch of people who had either already thought about this or were in the process of thinking about, like, what their gender and sexuality meant to them and how they wanted to define it. And I was just over here being like, I think I'm straight, but but I have a long list of actors who are not men that I would love to make out with. And
how they get you.
Like, yeah, and you know, and that's totally fine. Women are hot.
I'm like, everybody's like a little, I remember I used to think everybody thinks women are hot. Like,
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah, I used to think everyone thinks everyone's a little bit hot.
Yeah.
And then someone told me that's because I'm bisexual. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. like women who are like, everybody's a little gay. Like I was at a comedy show at the Bourbon Room a few months ago for this podcast, Trash Tuesday. And this woman came up to me literally right after the show. She beelines it to me and she's like, hi, I like your bangs and your necklace. And then she was a 40-year-old white woman with, I think she had kids and she was divorced. And we were talking and she was from Iowa and she wasn't my type, but I really like respected the directness until I said I tried to kind of assess, it was so clear to me that she was not straight, but it wasn't clear to me if she knew she wasn't straight. You know, that's like,
And if she was being nice or hitting on you.
yeah. Or if
Always
I
a
knew she was
question.
hitting on me, but I didn't know if she was aware she was hitting on me. Or just like, oh my God, I like girls. And I said something. And she goes, I mean, everyone's like a little gay. I'm like, they're literally not.
No, I have friends who are like, unfortunately, I am straight, and I look at their behavior and I'm like, yeah, no, you are, and that is unfortunate for you.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, whether unfortunate or not, I think it just matters if you can be honest with yourself. But I do think being a bisexual woman, I think why that happens sometimes is, one, I think bisexuality across both genders, people sometimes don't really believe it. It's like, just pick a side. And then two, I think for women in particular, I used to make out with women when I was younger, but it was just passed off as like, oh, it's so hot for men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sapphic-ness is not taken as seriously.
No. And even when you say you like women, people don't believe you, or I don't know. I mean, okay, I know it's anonymous, but we did go to the same high school, just 10 years apart. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about what it was like. Tell me about your high school experience.
Yeah. No, so I came out when I was 15, 16, like in the middle of sophomore and junior year. So I had 2 years where I was fully out, and I cut off all my hair. I was very stereotypical about it. Yeah,
the pictures are kind of hilarious.
The pictures are very bad. But I had a good glow up, so that's okay. That's what matters. Set the expectation low when you leave high school so that when you come back for the reunion.
Which queer woman would you say you most looked like in your glow down phase?
This is really embarrassing, but I took a picture to the hairstylist of Jennifer Goodwin from Once Upon a Time.
Oh my God, I have to cut that in whenever I see what it looks like. Okay.
No, I went home and my parents called me most of the fuck for 3 weeks.
Like, what happened?
And I was like, can it be a better name?
Did they know you were gay yet?
Yeah, no, yes. They figured it out. I came out and I was like, okay, I'm gay. But no, people were supportive. I did a lesbian ass monologue for school. And my teachers would just ask me questions about the character, but try to ask me about me. Because they were like, does the character know if they're queer or not? Not you, but the character. Because they didn't want to ask me about me, but they wanted to know because they cared. It was nice. It was supportive. I think I was one of at my time, I was one of the only people that was out. There was a few people in the grade before me or that had graduated before me, but there weren't a lot of out people. And I think teachers liked that there was someone that was out, that they could be like, hey, I'm here for you if you need it. And
they're like, I'm an ally.
No, literally, they'd point to their safe space stickers and be like, if you ever want to talk. And I'm like, this is really sweet. I'm fine. I have friends.
Like, fuck off.
But no, it was really nice. It was sweet. There was a GSA on campus, and there was a
What
women's
is the GSA?
a gay straight alliance,
Okay.
or a queer straight alliance group.
For the people who may not know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And there was also a women's empowerment group, and I think most of it was fine. But then there were those lax bros and the hockey bros who were like, we don't like this. We're gonna make a meninist club. So there was also a meninist club.
What's a meninist club?
It's like feminism, but
men's
but
rights.
men's
Stop
rights.
it!
No, dead ass.
Real thing.
And we were
No.
they took the room next to ours. They took the room next to ours.
Ew.
That is so chaotic.
And we had a bake sale. They were like, we're going to have a bake sale next to yours. And
You're like, that's kind of funny. You should have just done unhinged stuff so they would do
No,
unhinged.
they started the group because we were like, we're going to have a bake sale. All the girls have to pay 75 cents. All the guys have to pay $1. And we made everyone
makes
do that.
sense.
And they got so mad and they made a men's club.
That's hilarious.
But no, the teachers were great. The teachers were fine. I don't think if anyone was homophobic, I don't think they voiced it. I never felt like I wasn't allowed in that school because of my queerness.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I went to this same high school. I guess I could say the name, whatever. But it was 10 years before you, right? 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
And I don't remember there ever being queer women that came out. A couple of men came out in middle school and high school. And it was fine.
It was all guys.
It was all guys. I do now, looking back, recognize that there was a few women where I'm like, oh, duh, she was queer, or they were gay, or whatever it was, right? But for whatever reason, that just didn't happen when I was in high school. But this was also the early aughts, you know. It was a time.
Yeah,
we're not talking about that, but it's very funny for me to imagine teachers from our high school being like, safe space, gay straight alliance. It was so square when I was there. And do you have a religious background?
My family's culturally Hindu, but no, I'm not religious. My mom is very anti-religion as
Got it.
a concept. She's very into culture. She's very anti follow one God, and God instills fear. As soon as fear is involved, my parents are like, no.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's
Very
wonderful.
different.
I feel like most brown people who are like, the fear is the thing. Respect the fear. They want, literally one of my uncles in our big family WhatsApp group chat the other day, so out of context, sent a big message about how we should all live in fear.
Oh,
no.
fun.
Whack.
It was
No.
wild. I'm like,
The mainstreamness or anything that becomes everyone has to do this is when I'm like, now it doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
A lot of the practices that my family do is also just cultural of drink your haldi doodh every night, and that's good good for your health and stuff. And like Hinduism wasn't always just a religion. It was a culture. It was a practice. It was a way of health. It was a way of like just community and everything. So I don't think my parents ever were like, this is a religion you must follow. It was always just, this is a way of life. This is how we protect each other. This is how we stay healthy. Like, you don't eat as many lentils now. Fix that.
Right.
But it's not like follow this God, pray every morning.
So it's interesting because I know for you, Sandhya, tell me a little bit about, where what you're comfortable sharing about where you grew up and how.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since no one's going to be able to trace this, I can talk shit about anything that I want.
Fuck yeah.
Well, so my family grew up Swaminarayan. And so that's been like very opposite from your experience, where it's like, but also like your experience is how I view Hinduism in a way where it's like, it's the more I did learning on my own, the more it felt like something that's more personal. And that's just how I viewed religion in general, as like a very personal thing. But growing up in a very like, essentially what feels like the Mormonism of Hinduism. I've
never heard it described that way. That's so.
That's what I like to call it.
Yeah, that's like it's like it's about, there's too much money involved. I don't know where it all goes. And
some guy write a book that wasn't the original.
Yeah, and like I
fucked
like
up.
it is
Mormon.
like growing up and like learning about it and everything. It is like the practices that are taught are like legit. Part of like the Vedantic literature of Hindu religion and everything, and it is like, I guess, like progressing Hinduism in some direction. Whether or not it's like a good direction, I guess it's up to whoever wants to think about it. But it did mean that like growing up, you had a very strict set of rules, and like you had to do your puja every morning, and like you couldn't eat like there were rules of like not eating onion or garlic, or like you couldn't eat out at restaurants. Obviously you can't like drink alcohol and stuff like that. And it's like it's very much trying to teach you a very specific set of beliefs, and all of the stories like within Hinduism that we would learn growing up were filtered through a Swaminarayan lens. So it was like you learn about Ram Bhagwan, but you also like learn about like Ram's qualities through like and then like relate it to like another story that's like specifically about like Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And I like, I don't know, I just kind of vibed and went with it for a while. My sister definitely did not vibe or go with it. My family also wasn't like super like you have to follow all of these rules perfectly every time. We still eat onion garlic at home. We go to restaurants and stuff like that. My family does not know I drink, and they definitely wouldn't know that I'm on this podcast. But like,
or that you're gay.
yeah. But it's like it's very well. They don't even think I've kissed a boy, let alone a woman. But yeah, it's
the stories
just,
parents tell themselves.
Yeah, truly.
I'm like, wait, still? They're like, oh, she's a virgin.
Yeah, 100%.
That's amazing.
And it's one of those things where as I grew up, I was like, I don't like how structured this is. I don't like the way women are, like the way that women are supposed to be in society. Like I was always told like, oh, like, well, you have to have kids because you're the one that is going to teach them the ways and like pass on the traditions and the religion and the culture and that's how we survive. And it's like, but that's not what like I want my life to be.
Yeah.
And like that's not what I feel like my purpose is to just like get a job, find a husband, and like pray.
Right.
Which is kind of
Sounds
what
great.
which is kind of what they teach you. It's like you're doing all of these like worldly things because you're in this world and you need to survive, but your ultimate goal should be to be as close to Bhagwan Swaminarayan as possible, and you have no life outside of that. And they don't they teach you that in a way. It's like your extracurriculars should be around the Mandeer, your social circle should be people from the Mandeer and stuff like that. And in that way it feels very insular. And like right now my parents are trying to get me to talk to boys from the Mandeer to like get married to.
Mandeer boys.
Yeah, and it's like literally they have an app for like a dating app for Mandeer people, and it's like like it's
Mandeer match.
yeah. Oh, and it's just like they're like literally instructed to tell their kids not to associate as much with like non-Swaminarayan people.
Oh my God.
And I always thought that was kind of dumb. And it also like the one thing I feel like I really liked about Hinduism as a religion is that we're not like, we don't go off and like have missionaries and try to convert people. And I think something that really bugged me about the Swaminarayan system is that they do try to get you to do that, where it's like
It's more like a cult.
They want you to, they want you to talk about it and like invite people to the temple and stuff like that, and like get them to like start coming. And it's like, that's, I don't know, that always rubbed me the wrong way. And I was just like, I'll just go and do my thing. And like the Mandir itself still brings like a sense of peace, because it's like just like the temple structure, but also like I don't fully believe in it. And so like I don't feel the need to like just a lot of the things that they say that I should be doing, I'm like, that feels like a man wrote it in the 1700s.
Yeah.
And not like word from God. Yeah.
Just like a man in power wrote it and was like, we can make this happen.
Yeah. And like I think when Swaminarayanism like first emerged, it was very progressive. Like there were lots of like campaigns to stop sati from happening, and they used to, like in Gujarat, they used to when baby girls were born, they used to drown them in milk. And so they're like, because people wanted sons. And so in that era, they like stopped widow burning, and they campaigned against like female infanticide, because they were like, no, that's wrong. But it's become such a conservative group. It's like has a lot of ties with the current like government in power with the BJP in India and stuff like that. And there are just a bunch of things that they do that I'm not like cool with at this point.
Right. So how do you reconcile, like I know you came out, what's your name again?
Shreya.
I know Shreya. Shreya. You came out at 15 to your parents, and it's been this journey where you were supported. What has it been like for you to, and do you identify as gay, queer, pan, something?
Bisexual.
Bi, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so like me.
Yeah, all of us, I think.
Yeah.
We're all
okay,
bis
cool.
here.
I'm a baby bi. You're
We're all
my mommy
baby
bis.
bis.
Are we baby bis?
No,
I don't know.
we're toddler bis.
We identify as toddler bis, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We fucked women.
We won't run away.
We'll fuck each other, which we'll come back to later. Has it been, what's I think fascinating to me about some of your story and even just your presence is you've obviously come out to yourself and you're very comfortable with yourself. But I remember when we first met, you were like, I mean, I haven't told my parents. And my immediate thought was, but you don't owe them that. You don't owe anybody that. And it made me realize that even in saying that and then thinking about why I immediately felt that response towards you, I'm like, well, she's so comfortable with herself. So then why does anything else matter?
Yeah. It doesn't, and I don't ever feel the need to come out to them. I think it's things like this where I'm like, I would love to just be able to be open to the world and everyone about who I am and what I do. Like I just we just had a project go up and that I couldn't tell my parents about because I was like, the subject matter, which is not even about being queer, it's just like about like
love.
Interracial dating and love.
Right.
Which is, it's like I didn't invite them to that because I was like, I just don't want to fucking deal with the anxiety of having them there and their reactions and stuff like that. But like, I think the only difficult part is when I'm trying to be myself out in the world and I have to think about like, well, are my parents going to see this? Or like, is someone that I know who knows my parents going to see this and then tell them? Because that's not like, I don't owe them an explanation, but I also don't, I also am just not ready to have those conversations yet.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like, I don't know, my friends, the people I want to know, my friends know, everything else is fine. Sometimes it feels like you're trying to put yourself back in the box that you grew out of.
Right. It's funny because I did tell my mom, kind of recently, maybe like 8-9 months ago or something like that. And it obviously didn't go very well. But what's interesting is, and I know that she told my dad because I told her she could, but now we just don't talk about it. And they're just trying to set me up with men. And there's such a big part of me that's like, I mean, do you know any hot Gujarati like women? I'm not into our culture. I'm actually very into our culture. Yeah. Why is the pipeline to mediocre men so strong and the pipeline to women just like closed?
Right.
I'm like, I would love there to be a dating app for, our parents, like, I'm very open to it. I just wish it went both ways.
Yeah.
I love the stories of queer brown people coming out to their parents and being and like it's like them being like, oh well, we'll like find you whatever the opposite gender they were originally looking for was, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, so we'll just find you this type of person instead. We just have to shift the pool. We have lists here.
Right.
Like those are stories that I love, where they're just like, okay, just recalibrating, let's move on.
Yeah,
Right.
my friend told his dad, and his dad, without thinking, he was accepting. He was just like, I'm dating a guy, and he was like, is he Marathi? Because their family's Marathi, and he does not care.
I literally have thought about, like, I would love if the question was just, is she Gujarati? Like, that would be like, I would see that as not even that I'm like, I can only date Gujarati women, but I would see that as progress.
Yeah.
It's acceptance.
It's progress in a way.
Yeah.
It's their version of accepting it.
It's funny because I have a great aunt, and my parents, before I came out to them, they would always be like, oh, if gay's real or this is real, how come we don't have people in our family that are? I'm like, we obviously do. Like, clearly.
Yeah.
And I have one foy in India. She's like my mom's foy. I think she's gay, and she never got married, and
They were roommates.
Yeah. And also she was really, I heard through the grapevine that when one of her really close friends got married many, many years ago, she was very upset. I'm like, yeah, that's gay shit.
Yeah.
Like, I've done stuff like that where a woman I thought I was just good friends with. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I would feel really emotional when she got married. And looking back, I'm like, oh, I just was into her, or we were into each other. That's all that was. So I have a feeling, and I also think this foy in India, I think she knows I know. You know,
Yeah.
they all know because they've seen enough life, because I think she knows I am too. It's
Yeah.
just like a thing, but we haven't talked about it. But one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's like, who's, I really put on here, who's the hottest girl you've been with besides each other? Well, tell me about how you two met. I know you just recently worked on a play together. Tell me how you've met. And I actually don't know the stories of how you met.
I started a writers group during the pandemic for a theater company that I started because everything was on Zoom and I needed reasons to keep writing but wasn't working on myself. So I was like, cool, if I make people write with me, then I have to show up.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And so we've been friends since like 2021.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And my college boyfriend broke up with me and left me for another woman. And I joined the writers group to write a show about it. And so we've known each other since 2021. And then I moved to New York. And they were there, and we met up. We met in person for the first time. And you want to tell her what did I say? Or did you say
this is how it started. Because I'm definitely
you're the subbiest sub I've ever met in my goddamn
life. And I'm definitely not going to make the first move.
Actually, listen. In their defense, they have improved.
Okay.
Yes, I was way more subby than I am now.
I love that the Swaminarayan girly, the temple girly, is the dom in this situation. Let's just acknowledge that.
But okay, well, in this situation, because
we're both quite switchy.
Yeah,
I think we're both way more subby than we are dommy. But
sometimes you say things and I just want to smack you.
Yeah, I'm
and
a
not even in a kinky
Not in a
way.
hot way, or-
No,
I just tell terrible
just in a
jokes.
like shut up kind of way.
But so I showed up at her place and we met for the first time, and then we were both just staring at each other for a second, and there was tension.
Yeah, we were just like, oh,
Tension.
Yeah, and then she was like, "What do you get when you have two subby people together?
two subs who don't
know how to make the first move."
Yeah.
And then I literally just went, "Fuck it," and kissed her. And then we kept going.
Yeah. But it was it wasn't like we were just like constantly at each other, because that was like, I think there is I'm still trying to figure it out, but I think there is part of me that feels more in line with demisexuality in terms of like I got more comfortable with you when once we became better friends, because it was weird because obviously we'd known each other quite well because we would read each other's writing, so there was this sort of
Like emotional
connection.
And we'd been
intimacy already
texting
there.
about like personal things.
Yeah,
So we knew we were friends.
We were friends. We just hadn't met in person until then, and so then it had a moment of like, well, I don't know if I actually know you as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
So then nothing happened for a while, and then and then
there was a bit of kissing. We both identified as baby gays at the time, in that like we were like, what do we do? Do we know what we're doing with each other? Or is this going to be good? Like, what if I suck at this? And then I think we both had like all of the same fears that we were able to see it in each other, talk about it with each other, and just let ourselves do whatever we wanted when we wanted and ask questions. And if things got weird, we just like talked about it, laughed a little, and kept going. Like, it was nice. And it was like, it was exactly what you expect friends to do. Like, you're doing something new with a friend who's also scared, so you're helping each other go through it. The thing just happens to be really intimate.
Yeah.
And like, we wouldn't do it often. We do it every now and then we'd
I think we did
forget
it
for a
like
while.
4 or 5 times
in 6 months.
In like the 7 months that I was in New York.
Yeah. And then we'd always forget. We'd be like, oh no, I'm going to change, turn around. And then we'd be like, wait, each other, we've seen each other naked. We can do this.
Like, we've been fucking. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things where I know both of us wanted to have that experience, but we like also there's a whole thing about like people who are experimenting and like don't and it's like you know, like, you don't want to be that person that it like finds like someone who is lesbian or bisexual and then like and it's like I don't want to be in a relationship but I want to explore this.
Oh, I've been on the receiving end of that. It's hard.
Yeah, it's and it, like so we were like, well, we both want the same thing and I trust you to not like do something weird or stupid or
What is
whatever.
the same thing you both wanted? Just to explore.
Just to explore.
Yeah.
Got it.
And you know
sexuality.
that fear when you have like a straight friend and you come out and you're like, don't worry, I won't like you, because they're like, well, don't hit on me or don't think that I'm your like.
I couldn't have her at my pool party. She was a lesbian, right?
Literally, right? Like people used to do that shit, and like I think part of me, at least, I don't know about you, but was scared of like thinking that I wanted more than she wanted, or like that I was more into things than she was.
No, I literally did an April Fool's joke this year, and it scared the crap out of them. It was like woke up on April 1st, and I was like, I think I want to date you.
That is what if she had been? What if they had been like, okay?
No, my eyes just went. We can talk about it. What do you mean? I was like, we're good friends. We'll hang out and like we can like go on dates, but I don't know if we want to date because like we will do dates together, right?
Yeah,
I will go on dates with my friends where I'm like, let's have a thing together. Let's hang out. Let's do something cute. But that doesn't mean I'm dating my friend.
Yeah, I've done that platonically with
Literally,
friends
even with a guy tonight, I'm like, do you want to do like a cute little dinner tonight? We're not dating, but we're not.
Yeah,
I get
we
it.
just
I
hang
get
out
it.
with our friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, can't you just hang out with your
treat
friends and
our
have sex
friends
with
to
them? And
something
it's like kind of
nice,
fun.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's called being friends with benefits, but
Dating
not
is
we
for my
call
30s.
it. Well, we frame everything under the guise of if it's not for marriage, then it's like something weird, and it's not. It's just
but like, who gives a shit
gives a
about
shit?
marriage now, anyways?
Yeah.
Like, that's also something that I think the more that we've been just like hanging out and being friends, but it's just like I think the thing that's changed the most since we've like started
Hooking up.
yeah, is that my idea of like
Toddler days.
my idea of like love and intimacy and relationships have changed fundamentally, where it's just like I don't like before I was like, I'm gonna get married and we're gonna have kids.
Mandeer
and,
babies.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that whole like traditional structure, and that was something that I'd already started moving away from, and then now I'm just like, well, a lot of the things that I wanted in or that I thought would happen in a romantic relationship is actually happening with a lot of my friends, and like I feel very fulfilled in life just through my friendships. And so it's like, why the fuck would you want to like find some like gross ass man who can't even wipe his ass after shitting to like
Was that your
marry?
ex-boyfriend?
No, his butt was very clean.
How convenient for you.
I would know because he asked me to peg him.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I always wanted to peg my ex, and
It's very fun. I would recommend it.
I know. The last guy I dated was he was pretty subby, and I think he was definitely queer, but he like didn't come out, which I wish he would have. But I always wanted to peg him. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but like
Men deserve to
no,
be pegged.
I've just seen
good way.
so many like posts from women being like or like being having to tell their boyfriends that they need to like wipe their butts, and I'm like, why would you do that? You're not their mother.
I'm following the wrong people. How many people are writing about their boyfriends?
I just see it on like Reddit, like the Instagram posts about Reddit posts.
Got it.
That just shows up a lot.
That is a funnel for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this idea of marriage is really sold to us, and like I definitely wanted a husband when I was younger, and
Yeah, of course, we all did.
yeah, like, and like a family and all of that. And the idea of like having a nucleus to support you and to lean on is really nice. And like having that community is also just what humans need for security.
Yeah.
But I think during
Starting this
college,
commune.
exactly.
Yes.
During college, like a lot of my friends had way more issues with their parents than I did. And so when I started giving into my parents' asks, they would be like, you don't need to do this to your parents all that much. And sometimes, like, yeah, I needed to not give in to my parents, but sometimes I wanted to be there for them and they didn't get it. And I have such a big fucking family and I love them. Like, I love them so much and I want them to be in my life that I'm like, I already have most of the support that I need.
Yeah, I have that too.
If I had a kid right now, which, but like, but if I did,
Turn into a gremlin.
I know that if I really needed it, I have so many fucking cousins, let alone the aunts and uncles and the grandparents who could help me and who could be there. That like, and I have friends who can be there for me. I don't need to find a partner who is perfect because I have all
other
the things
stuff.
I need from everyone else in my life.
Yeah.
So now the like idea of like what do I want from that partner is so different than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So like I don't think I can think about that for a few years until I figured out what else I have in my
Yeah.
life and what I need.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna ask this, but I feel like I put millennial versus Gen Z girlies. Please discuss. I don't even know.
Oh,
what
my
that
cusp
means.
idea.
What
Was this because remember we talked about this the other day with astrology?
I don't remember.
I think
But
maybe it's just like the difference in how
You're millennial, right?
I'm like so
You're cuspy.
I'm flat in the cusp. It's like some people say the year that I was born in is Gen Z and other people say it's millennial. I don't really know at this point.
know.
Some people are too millennial for me and there are definitely people that are too Gen Z for me.
Yeah, I feel the same. It goes like age is just whatever.
I
It's
say
like
just
more of
like
a vibe.
be yourself at the end of the
Yeah,
day. But
yeah.
I have a silly conspiracy theory that like our Neptune changes every 14 years or whatever in Western astrology, and so all of the millennials is in Capricorn, all the Gen Z's Neptunes are in Aquarius, which is why Gen Z is way more revolutionary.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And millennials are way more like I have to get the work done, I have to do my job, and I have to do my like all these things are planned out for me.
Yeah,
That's
and then
my
you kind of feel
silly
like
little theory.
unhinged when it doesn't match
Yeah,
Yeah.
match that expectation.
yeah.
What's like one of your favorite things about being a toddler bi? Or I don't know, knowing this about yourself. And also like what were your how long ago did your boyfriend break up with you, and
4 years ago.
did you already know you were bi?
Yeah. So I came out to my friends sophomore year of college.
Okay.
And they were kind of like, yeah, no shit, we've seen you make out with women. And I was like, yeah, I knew that and you knew that, but this is me telling you.
Coming out
that.
to yourself.
Yeah. I was dating my ex then. We dated for like a little bit sophomore year of college and then like really dated my senior year of college onwards. And I think my senior year was like, I honestly don't, but not to discredit him coming out to me as bisexual, but I don't know if he truly thought that or if he was just, I don't know. He said he was bisexual. I was like, cool, I'm bisexual as well. And like, but I haven't done anything. And we had talked about like at some point maybe like opening up our relationship to have those experiences with other people, but he was always very much like I don't want to have that experience without you, and I don't want you to have that experience without me. And I was like, I don't know if I would want my first time with a woman to also
Be with you.
have you involved.
I
in
get
it.
that. Because then it becomes about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the pandemic happened and we weren't in the same place and I had started grad school, I was like, well, in a world where things were happening in person, I would go to parties and like meet women and like I would want to do this and like see what it was like. And he was like, I don't think I'm comfortable with that. I was like, okay, cool. Then I don't have to do that. And then when he broke up with me to go date another woman, he initially brought up the idea about opening up our relationship because he thought he was poly. And I was like, no, you just want to break up with me.
Yeah. There's a big difference.
You just want to break up with me. You just don't want to do it.
I know. But I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of doing that.
And I was like, go, you can go.
Like go flourish.
Yeah,
whatever.
go have fun. Well, no, it was like he can go shove a cactus up his ass, and I would be
Don't
happy
flourish.
with
Fuck
it.
yourself.
Yeah, truly. But yeah, no, it wasn't really like a thing that I thought about a ton in college. It was more of just like, I think I really started coming into myself as a queer person after college, and especially like after we started hooking up. Not to say that you need to hook up with someone in order to feel more queer, but I think I was just discovering more things about myself.
Yeah.
And those things, like, and the thought processes I had with that made me feel, one, more like myself, and two, more queer.
I think taking the intimate experiences out of it also, we just talk about it a lot. And I
Yeah.
don't know how many people you talked to about it before. Not that you didn't have people, but like we talk about it a lot.
I feel like I
No,
don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friends
Well, if you ever wanna chat
come
about
to
queer
me
shit.
now
Never.
as like two of my friends in my friend group told me that they were bi or pan before they told other people, because I
You're
guess
safe now.
I guess I was the first person that was like, cool, this is who I am and I'm figuring it out, but like I think this is me. And they came into that later, like definitely after college, for whatever reason. But yeah, it was, I don't remember what you asked me.
I don't either. I mean, I think the first time I made a woman orgasm, it was definitely like, I mean, I don't want to say I had to have that moment, but it was an accomplishment. And it was, fuck it. It's not even anonymous for me, but I'll talk about it. It was like during a threesome with a guy I had been kind of hooking up with and her, but it became very clear for me during the threesome that I was just into her.
Yeah.
Like, which like, there is something about that where I was like, well, I can't deny that. And I did feel accomplished. And it also did feel, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just doing it for this guy. I was like, I actually like wish he wasn't here.
Yeah.
And that was like a very big moment. And to your point, I'm like, it wasn't about, I need to have this experience, but it did make me acknowledge my queerness more.
Yeah.
And then I was also, the other big thing about that was the next day she called me and she's like, oh my God, me and the guy she had kind of been seeing became official the next day. And I was, right? And I was really,
That post-nut
Thank you.
clarity worked the wrong way.
I was like, yeah. Well, and she like didn't identify as, like, she was one of those that I think she definitely was attracted to me because she made a first move, but she definitely was still on that marriage babies track, like pretty traditional. So I think there was also a part of her that wanted to kind of nip it in the bud. Of like, even though I decide, and she was white, like it's a whole, it's a whole thing. And it wasn't that I liked her. That's why I was hurt. It was more like, you couldn't have given this a second of thought or consideration that we are good friends who've hooked up and we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to be like, congratulations, you have a boyfriend now. Like,
Yeah,
was-
that's weird.
it
That's
sucked.
really weird.
I was like, and we actually like, I think we hung out once more after that. And I remember we went to dinner and her boyfriend at this point had moved in with her. And I remember being at dinner and being like, this kind of feels like a date. Like it was just different. And then I never saw her again after that.
Oh my God.
That was it. Isn't that
Are they
crazy?
still together?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know.
I know. Don't care. I mean, not that I don't care. I just, I wasn't into her like that. It was more just, I'm like, she didn't give this enough consideration. How this would make me feel like less than 12 hours later.
Yeah, that's really sucky.
Yeah. But it's part of, I mean,
It
even
is
the fact
queerness.
that I was hurt, I was like, oh, I care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I care how she
Yeah.
lives or whatever.
You don't need experiences to know things, but they do teach you stuff about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they unlock certain parts of yourself you've been hiding. And I think also being like an older millennial, my friends were weirder about all this stuff, especially my brown girlfriends were weirder about this stuff when I
Yeah.
came out. Whereas my white girlfriends in New York, they were like, yeah, you're so cute. We know you're bi. Like, that's like really cute. You thought we didn't know. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm telling you, that's different.
Yeah, that was,
I had one of my crazy stories. Oh my God, can I talk about this? One of my friends ended up telling me, and we've never spoken about it, but I realized I was kind of gay around like 31. And one of my friends, and I was dating a guy at the time, and I was kind of freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I was outside and I wanted to fuck this woman. What, like, I think I'm kind of gay. And one of my friends who's married, she now has kids and stuff. She ended up telling me that she actually had a crush on her now husband's sister first. And I was like, is that why at your freaking wedding, the sister speech was so weird? And she's like, yeah.
oh my God.
And I think in that moment, because I was so raw, she was raw back. And I to this day kind of still think she's lesbian. And she just like married the guy because it was easier. And she's very religious and it's a whole thing. She converted to Orthodox Judaism and then met a guy. Oh my God, she can't hear this because she'll know I'm talking about her.
Oh my God.
But I remember in that moment also realizing you have these experiences and then you start to notice patterns. I do sometimes wonder if the sister is like an easy gateway into like I remember telling my friend Josh, who's gay, when I was around 32, 33, I was like, yeah, I think I also like women. He's like, yeah, didn't you come out like 10 years ago? I was like, no. He goes, yeah, you were definitely hitting on my sister at my wedding. And I was like, is this a thing? Like, people just like, he was like laughing. He's like, I literally thought you were out like a million years ago. Like, I was like, I was not. And he was like, oh, well, I always thought you were kind of gay. So
That's really funny.
But anyway, the sister thing is something I don't know, but I thought that was really
I'm
fascinating.
not hooking up with you to get to your brother.
I know that.
But
that.
I think it's almost the opposite,
If
right?
it's his girlfriend,
Like,
she's pretty, but
yeah. Like, I think my friend actually truly liked the sister and then just like married the guy because she was uncomfortable.
Interesting.
But I don't know. We'll never know. She told me that, and then that was like years ago. We never talked about it after that. And my ex actually thought she was gay. He met her once. He's like, she seems gay. Like
Sapphics are
lesbian.
so
Not even.
funny.
Yeah. Sexuality's complicated. I don't know. I know you both had it out at 5. It's 5:13. So
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Do you? Another like, it's so funny. Like, she'll probably hear this and know that it's her. But last year during Pride, this Indian girl interviewed me on her podcast, and like, she kept saying something along the lines of like, oh, but it's like cool to be gay now, so it must be so fun. And I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that. Like, it's not about, oh my God, there's Pride events, it's so cool. But I think that to me, when someone says stuff like that, that's what feels very millennial. I'm like, you're thinking about like the capitalist version of being queer versus just how I might feel.
Yeah. My mom didn't know what she was saying when she said this, but when I came out to her, she was trying to be supportive. She was like, I knew you'd be the adventurous one. And I was like, like, no, that's actually the worst fucking stereotype for bi people.
Or
Like,
people,
it's terrible.
I'm like, I'm not, I mean, I am free-spirited, kind of, but also that's not correlated with the queerness. They're actually two totally different things. And she also on the same podcast asked me, this woman like, oh, but what are you going to do if you're with a guy and you see a hot girl? I'm like,
Talk about the girl. What else are you going to do?
And I'm like, you're equating non-monogamy or polygamy with being queer. They're not the same thing.
Yeah. And it's like, also like, I don't know, like even
adventurous
when I was in like a relationship with a man, it's like if I saw a woman that I thought was attractive, I would be like, dude,
she's hot.
She's fucking hot. And that's also like a way to like suss out guys that you don't want to be with, because if they respond with anything but, oh yeah, she is, or like, and not my type, whatever, but like it like doesn't get angry with you about the fact that like you find someone else attractive,
that you're
man
human
or woman or whatever, then it's like, I don't know, it's like then it becomes a conversation. Like we do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
We talk about pretty people all the time.
Because who cares? It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't, like, we're just human. We're not even saying, if you are monogamous with somebody, right? I'm not saying I'm going to act on it if we've already made an agreement. And if we're non-monogamous, then maybe I will act on it. But the whole point is it shouldn't be, like this idea that there's one default and it doesn't even have to be spoken and that you are supposed to somehow follow it. It's just, it's so hetero.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
don't
can't do
understand
that.
it. You can't like look at someone without your part. I don't understand some hetero people because like my cousin's still in college, so like they still have learning to do. But she has a lot of guy friends, right? And she doesn't want to hook up with any of them. She just likes her guy friends. And she fell asleep in the same bed as one of them, and his girlfriend sent such an angry text to her. And she was like, "How dare you fall asleep in the same bed as my boyfriend? You're gonna like, you can't take him from me." And she was like, I don't want him. There were just two beds and I didn't want to sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
She's like,
and I
"It's
get
not
that.
that
It's like some of my, a lot of my friends who are straight women, especially if they live in like the Midwest or whatever, they will literally, and if they're brown, they'll literally be like, oh, like once I got married, I don't have any like male friends anymore. And they literally think of that as like, of course not. And I'm like,
that doesn't make sense.
That's
I'm like, what?
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure this is a line from the fucking Sound of Music when the nuns are like, just because something like, you can look at the menu, but you don't have to order.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
so good.
if nuns can look at the menu, can I?
Can't I? Yeah. It's like in that episode of Sex and the City when Samantha asks the nun, like, are you allowed to masturbate? And she goes, I never asked. It's like so good.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
But she goes, thank you for taking my mind off cancer for the first time in like months.
Oh my God.
So good. I'm going to a Sapphic swimming party on Thursday.
Ooh.
I don't even know. I'm just like going. I don't like by myself. I'm like, I need to do something to shake me out of I feel like I've been just celibate. And I'm like, I need to figure out how to like activate myself. So I'm going to try to go to this thing and see what happens. So that's why I thought of the word Sapphic too, because I was telling a good friend of mine who's Indian and she's like very hetero. And she's like, what's Sapphic? I was like, should I send some videos? You know? I'm like, how do you like explain it? I don't know.
I think I don't know, to me it's better than just like homosexual because like it implies
I think
like
sapphic is poetic.
yeah, it's poetic.
Yeah.
It's also you get that that platonic intimacy.
Yes.
And that's so important and wonderful. It's way better than just romance because like I love having romance with my friends.
Yeah.
And I don't need expectations and strings attached. I just want to coexist with people.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know?
And it's weird that we've made that not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when did that happen? Didn't it just used to be okay? And then one day it became more rigid and
I don't understand.
I don't know.
Like I love a cuddle puddle with my friends.
Yeah.
That feels so sapphic to me.
yeah. It is. And yeah, I guess you can even have sapphic energy with men. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just,
no.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
feminine and masculine. We all have both
Yeah.
of them.
And that's why I got this tat to remind me. To remind me.
We all have both of it.
Anything else you want to, I don't know, like do you think if you started dating a woman, you would tell your parents?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Probably not. I don't know if that's also a hindrance in me actually wanting to date a woman. I don't know. I haven't dated anyone in a hot sec, and
neither have I.
I've only really dated men. And so it's been, I don't know. That's something I'm trying to figure out right now, and also just like how I want to live life with relationships. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't need to do any of this stuff and I'm fine. I don't want to go on dates and whatnot. And then like the part of me that's still like trying to, I guess, like deprogram itself is like, but you're like of marriageable age and finding a husband would be nice, and like it would be nice to have something like that as well. And just like, I don't know, there's
two paths.
There's a balance, I think, with it. And I think the thing that ideally would be really awesome is to find a partner that like I want to do all of like the legal marriage bullshit with. And
Love marriage.
yeah. And like it be this like romantic, intimate thing, but also like I don't want it, like that is not going to be the thing that stops me from also having other intimate experiences. It just looks different. And so like that, like because like with our relationship, it's like we're friends, and I think the intimate part of our relationship is going to remain. I think it's another way that we connect as people. And it's
beautiful.
like, and so like, I feel like depriving our friendship of that, like, is like cutting off a limb from our friendship. And so I'm like, well, if I do end up getting married to someone, they're gonna have to be okay with this, because like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's also a good way to find a red flag.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You're like a little stiff.
Yeah.
Like, you'd like to be
Either he's-
pegged, and can I still keep fucking her? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if I
Can we get married at the temple?
And if he says no, or if he says sure but don't talk to me about it, then it's bye.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
the other issue with like not talking about it, for me, I've learned this from my past relationships. I have to talk about everything, because otherwise I don't feel close to the person.
Yeah.
It's
And a lot of
communication.
a lot of people literally subscribe to this idea that like you shouldn't be telling your partner everything. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that. I mean, I respect everyone's boundaries.
You don't have
but
to tell
If
him
I
everything.
can't tell
but-
you what my shit smelled like, I don't want to date you.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe on that note we wrap.
Wonderful.
Is there any parting words? Wait, your names are Sandhya and Shreya.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to, I don't know, tell people, or in this moment where you get to be anonymous and you can literally say anything? What do you want to? I mean, is there anything you want to say? Other than my shit stinks.
Gender is fake. Let yourself explore. Be free. Be yourself.
Yeah, don't do anything because someone wants you to.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. I have nothing. I just thank you for joining me
Thank you
Thank you for
having us.
and letting me
us,
into this
yeah.
intimate verbal cuddle puddle.
I love it.
Just what it feels like.
Very sapphic.